This episode is brought to you by Fandango. People say fans are too distracted these days, but the truth is, when a great movie hits the screen, you show up. You stay glued, invested, part of the story. And without fans like you, there'd be no cinema magic, no shared moments. So head to Fandango.com to get tickets, stream, or rent or buy top movies and series. Fandango loves fans.
What up? It's interview style. We're talking about whatever. Iris, we're talking about movies that we have yet to discuss. I wanted to know if there are any that are kind of intimidating for you to come at. You have a lot of people in show business and stuff. You've discussed films that are favorites of your friends and colleagues. Are there any that really worry you?
I have to admit that I've censored myself around films where I have a personal connection with the filmmakers, and not like in a fakey way, but in a way where maybe I'm a little bit more generous or diplomatic than I would be with you if it was just a candid off-mic conversation. But if there's anything that I'm intimidated by, I think it's, the classics. Speaking of, have you realized, did you put together that the opening montage of Almost Famous ties in directly to the very first scene of the film?
Just him in school? No. There's for opening scene is Christmas Time, the Chipmunks, and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Exactly. Well, they're talking about To Kill a Mockingbird, but the title sequence of a hand just going through trinkets and different artifacts and stuff like that is straight out of To Kill a Mockingbird. And I was definitely thinking about it before she even started talking about it. And I was like, oh, is this, Cameron Crowe's little homage? And then when they started talking about the novel, I was like, oh, of course it is. Like, this is just confirming that. But it's movies like that, these classic movies that people have poured over and, there's just tons of criticism and stuff that are a little intimidating. It's a mix between what new do I have to offer, but also like what is there really to add to the overall conversation. Like, you've been hesitant to discuss movies like Indiana Jones, for example, even though some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that you shared with me was new, like the hat on the stick in the car when they're in the plaza. Like, that stuff is new to me, but it's like so old hat to you, pun intended, that you don't even want to talk about it.
Well, I'm hesitant to just go into the same stories and trivia that surrounds it because it's so readily available. Luckily for most of the classics, which I tend to love, you have me to help you.
Yeah, but you don't want to talk about the trial. You don't want to talk about 5 Easy Pieces.
Oh, that was pretty hard. And I also didn't feel like I was qualified. I felt like a dum-dum going into Primer. So that concerned me, but you haven't brought up my biggest fear so far, which is one we haven't discussed.
So tell me what it is, and then we'll discuss it.
It's The Godfather, which is universally loved. I have seen The Godfather. I tried to watch it critically and came up a little bit short. I would like to still say it is because I had just finished Mario Puzo's The Godfather and then watched the film and was like, it's not as good as the book, but people love the movie on its own merits, and I'm really afraid that if I watch it again, I haven't seen it in years. If I watch it, I will miss it. I will miss the mark, and I will be like, I don't know, it kind of sucked, and James Caan didn't even kind of connect with that punch in the fire extinguisher, what is it, fire hydrant sprinkler fight or whatever. It's not what it's about. People love it for a very specific reason, and I'm deathly afraid I'm going to miss it and be yelled at.
It's a good movie, but you had no problem whatsoever trashing fan favorite K-pop Demon Hunters. What makes The Godfather any different?
Did you or no one else listen to the end of that episode where I just said that I was messing with you because I knew you were going to come in hot and that I actually liked that movie, was happy enough that it won Best Animated Film and Best Original Song?
Don't worry too much about The Godfather, because I don't know that you're alone. I think the people who love it loudly, and the people who don't quietly. I went to the Academy Museum with Amy, shocked to find out that she doesn't. Well, actually, I shouldn't be so shocked, should I? That The Godfather's not her cup of tea. But they had this great photo op or you can sit at the desk. And I picked up the phone.
Is that in the back room where they have the desk and the prosthetic for Marlon Brando?
No, it's just the
It's
desk.
like in a back room. Oh, it's super dark, right?
No, it's in the lobby-ish area of like the second or third floor. But you can sit down at the desk and you can fiddle with the letter opener or whatever. And probably like a million people before the monitor had to listen to me be like, "I invite you here on the day of my daughter's wedding," and like just groan internally. But it's awesome because the movie's awesome, and I personally think beloved for a reason.
Speaking of the sneak, I'm also really worried about movies that people love that they bring, like, you guys should talk about this one. And I'm like, oh God, it's like, hey, I have a band. You want to listen to my CD? I really dread it because it's hard for me to be critical and objective. Like I'm afraid of trashing movies that people love that I know personally. The Land Before Time, I wouldn't want to discuss critically. Because what if that movie sucks? I haven't seen it all the way through.
Probably does.
Anyway, I have to tell the story about going to the Academy Museum and wheeling Dad through it in the wheelchair. At the time, the Godfather exhibit was in a back room. It was dark. These are real, like, important props for an important movie. They had a glass case with Brando's facial prosthetics that made him talk the way he did. And it was so dark, in fact, that they had an attendant sitting on a chair inconspicuously in the corner that I didn't even see. And, this is a room that needs to be watched over and taken care of. So pushing Dad through the Godfather room, I thought would be a big deal for him. He looked at everything. He looked at the Brando prosthetic, didn't say a word until I was pushing him out of the room, and he did one of his signature dad sneezes that only you and I and anyone we've ever met will recognize. It's like, hush! And he screamed. It echoed in that tiny room. And the attendant in the chair immediately stood up and walked away. She was terrified. It was hella disruptive. And that's what I remember about the Godfather exhibit at the Academy Museum. Go check it out. Thanks for playing Kayla. You goodbye.
Introducing the Deep Leadership Podcast. Leadership is a people business. That's the philosophy of your podcast host, John Rennie. As a former submarine officer who spent 22 years leading businesses in corporate America before starting his own manufacturing business, he knows that leadership matters. Deep Leadership is real-world, actionable leadership advice from John and his expert guests. Become a leader worth following. Subscribe today.
Electricast.